Hey guys, my name is Bryce, and today I'll be doing a video in sort of a disjointed two-parter. In the first part of this video, I'll be doing an unboxing of this Power Functions box. It has a motor, lights, a switch, and a battery box. The sort of backstory behind this is that I got this, as well as a replacement sort of Mindstorms brain, because I'm meaning to do another Mindstorms project for a while, in spite of replacing the batteries and trying to see what it looks like inside in case something's wrong. Can't figure out why this thing won't turn on. Unfortunately, it may have just been outdoors too much through like all of its off-road adventures, and it might just be dead. What I'm gonna try and do is I might try and make like a sort of search and rescue buggy, but in any case though, let's get started with the unboxing. As you can see from the sides, there's not too much in terms of the contents, but I am very curious even just to see like how powerful are these lights. Are they direct or indirect? There also aren't too many videos of this, in spite of the fact that these are a very attainable set, come to think of it. I mean, I got this online, but still. So here's the main battery box, which is actually not too bad size-wise compared to this, even though it'll certainly take fewer batteries. The way it opens up, I imagine, is just by sort of squeezing, and it just has a single contact point here, and everything else is kind of nice and smooth, so it should be able to put up with what I throw at it. Here's a switch. It feels very much like the ratcheted pieces you find in other Technic parts, so it's actually got a distinct flip back and forth without hopefully wearing that out too much. In terms of the way that it comes on as the contact points, it's like identical to snapping on a brick. It's pretty straightforward. In terms of the little motor and everything, I'll be testing this out almost immediately just to see kind of strength and speed it's got, because I believe it's fixed speed. However, you can obviously change that with all the gears. Again, this one is like a really nice size, especially compared to all the servo motors that you have in the Mindstorms kits. As for the lights though, they're perfect. They're very small. Curious to see how they're going to attach though, because from it looks like they're large enough to fit through essentially like a very small opening for pins here. You can kind of see that. That's how small they are. They just fit in sideways like that. But they actually do fit in with friction, which is nice. Like it kind of goes from slightly more narrow nose and just sort of fits in snug. And it's actually not all that wide either, which is great. And as for the fine little pieces, I'll just use this axle as an example. This gear essentially is made so that there can be a little bit of give on it, where you can see, just by the strength of my fingernail, it sort of has a little bit of spin to it. And as a matter of the way that this works, it's typically to sort of emulate the way that a band would work in a gear system. So if you have essentially like a belt going between two things, if there's too much force, essentially the slack will sort of induce to make sure that you don't strip gears. And this is kind of like a gear version of that. I don't know if it's rubber inside or whatever's inside, but essentially this will kind of save your motor from, frying itself essentially. So it's actually a very smart idea to have this packed included. In terms of other useful parts though, they have these tiny little gears which I recognize from mainly the Bionicle sets, but you can see they have such a very small profile. I'm not doing a very good job of keeping this in focus, but just to give you context again of what the scale is, they fit just with a little bit of registration to the next pins. They can be immediately side by side, probably fairly familiar to you guys. We actually have 3 of these. Best example of how this would probably be used is if you're making, let's say, a crane, so there's lots of articulation and things have to go in different directions. You could make something like this work actually quite easily. And of course with the instructions, you can see how this incorporates into race cars and dump trucks and things like that. But for now, this is kind of like a summary of all the Power Functions pieces, and yeah, you guys will be able to see these in use fairly soon, so look forward to that. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you next time.